It was supposed to be a really peaceful week in the tropical garden, but some insects had some other plans. This week I'm showing you what's thriving, what's surprising me, and yep, what nearly sent me running. Grab your gloves and maybe some Benadryl because things got a little wild here in Zone 6B. Hi everyone, it's Tim. Welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday. I hope you're watching on Saturday, but if not, if it's later in the week, I hope you're having a good one. I hope your garden is doing great. It is so sticky hot out here right now. I'm already wet and I just walked out the door to check on the garden and I thought I need to video because it's almost the end of the week. I was chatting with my friend Andrew in Germany this morning and I said, I don't even know what I'm going to do on this video and I'm really late. I tend to video as I'm doing projects and this week it's just been so hot and yucky, and then I had an unfortunate experience in the garden which you'll see in my meltdown of the week. So that's kind of overshadowed a lot of what has happened this week. But a lot of cool things. All this heat is making everything grow, which is fabulous. It feels like I'm on vacation in Costa Rica. And so I'm not complaining, and I've been in the pool a lot, a whole lot. I garden, I jump in the pool, I garden, I jump in the pool. And I know the UK, it's been really hot for you guys too. And I know Southern Europe, it's really hot as well. So we're all really having summer right now, which is fantastic. All kinds of interesting things happening, things growing. I'm gonna take you through some of the plants on the deck that I always forget about. And there's always a couple of palms that I just leave out, and I'm going to try to hit them today. So hopefully you'll see some of the things you don't always see in my garden. And hopefully some of the old things that you see all the time, you'll go, wow, Tim, that's grown a lot, or that's still a problem. And maybe you'll give me some advice. While I'm down in the pool area, I want to point out a couple of things. I did not plant this sunflower. The birds have moved the sunflower seeds all over my garden and they're coming up in various places. And I feel kind of lucky because when I try to grow sunflowers from seeds, they do really well, but I have to wait till they get big because the rabbits come in and eat the seedlings. And somehow this one being next to my Sylvestris palm, my Phoenix Sylvestris, which is right back here, I don't know if you can see it, it had a chance to grow. And I've got a couple more big around the pool that just came up out of nowhere because the birds or the squirrels did that. So it's kind of nice. I get an unexpected plant, maybe not exactly where I want to put it, but it's definitely there. And while I'm here, reaching over here, my Musa Basjoo that died to the ground down here is getting nice and big because of all the heat. And the ones up on the hill are even bigger and they died to the ground too. Now, the ones by the house are gigantic, but they did not die to the ground. Speaking of plants coming up in unusual places, Jose, this one's for you. My Cleome, don't know quite how to say that. This has come up in my Washingtonia Robusta that's in a pot in here. It just came up and there's lots of bugs and lots of bees going for it, and even the hummingbirds love it. And it's weird, I had several of these a couple of years ago in various colors, and now I have them coming up all over the place, even though last year, I don't even remember if they were in the garden or not, but I think they must have been because they seed so readily. It just has really pretty flowers and they just keep building on top of themselves. And then you can see right here, the seed pods. And I don't know if you have to have them in cold over the winter to make them sprout. I really haven't done that, but obviously these seeds lay out here all winter long and then come back and things. Although this was in the garage, so maybe that necessarily is not so true, but if I zoom in down here, you will see some are just coming up on their own, almost like weeds in here. So, and this is a weed, I think, too, but it's kind of pretty. Zooming in here. Isn't that a pretty weed? What is that? Does anybody know? It's always the question, especially in the spring for me. Is it a weed or is it a real plant that I want? And these are my tropical bananas of unknown origin. This one produced fruit last year and then died, and this is the pup that came up. So I'm watering it like crazy, hoping that maybe it will produce fruit again. And they were really good. It was really tasty. I'm wedging myself in by the wall and my fireplace here to show you how big this cannabis has gotten. It's quite big now. And even though I have no idea what I'm doing with cannabis, really even how to take care of it, it does seem like it's happy right now, and that's a good thing. It's growing quite large, and everything looks pretty good on it. I had an initial little small infestation of the spotted lanternfly, but I sprayed it with the concoction that Yvonne told me to use for my Oriental lilies, and it worked just fine. And I love that it's not a pesticide, so that's good. While I'm out here on my plume poppy midweek video, someone, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember who it was, said, "Tim, you need to talk about grasses because they're so easy." And I agree. I really agree. And mine have been coming up. That one I did not plant. This one here, which is huge, I did plant. And so they're self-seeding quite a bit in the garden. And you'll see right here, I've got more over here. And then beyond the cannabis, that could be a movie, Beyond the Cannabis, starring, this is my variegated grass up here. And that's probably 4 meters wide, I would say. It's grown so much. The messy part about grasses are if you don't chop them back in the fall. Here's some more over here that's not variegated. It's a little bit variegated. If you do not chop them back in the fall, you will regret it in the spring, because then all the fuzz from the seeds and everything else just fly everywhere. They end up in the pool. So if I'm diligent and get them done in the fall, I'm much, much happier with the result. My friend Paul gave me some hydrangeas that he got to root from cuttings, and I have been taking care of them, but it's time to get them in the ground. I've just been avoiding it because it's so hot, and I didn't think it would be a good time to do it, but they're going to go on the hill below the pool where I have some of his other hydrangeas growing. This is a red Bougainvillea I got many years ago. It has really not grown at all, and I don't know if it's just the variety. I even had it in the ground one summer, and I've thought about overwintering it, but it didn't even really grow in the ground. It just stays so compact. It has really pretty flowers on it, but it just has not grown at all. And I think I've had it now, I mean, you can see this pot is not very big. I have had this we're probably talking over 10 years now, so that should be much bigger than it is. My other Bougainvilleas grow so fast. This one, not so much. One thing I wanted to point out also is I grew Zinnias from seed, and I have them planted all over the place. But I had too many, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I didn't want to throw them away. So I just put them in this pot. And they are thriving in that. So just because you plant something, seedlings, and you don't have enough of them, or you have too many of them and want to put them in the ground, and you're like, what do I do? Just put them in a pot and keep them watered. who would have thought these would be so happy right here? And they're actually bigger there than they are in some of the places in my garden that I put them. Very easy to grow from seed. I'm going to try to zoom in up here. I have rows of Sharon on my hill. And you can see I have a couple of different colors up there. I am not a big fan of these, but they work on the hill. And so if you're looking for a shrub or tree that you would like on a hill, I can highly recommend this. Very cold tolerant. They do like to spread if they're on flat ground. I had a few up by my Chilean wine palm and they just keep coming up and everywhere, even though I've moved them from there. But yeah, they seem to do really well on the hill and they don't want to spread, but they're growing. This is one variety. And these all came with the house, which is kind of fun. They just weren't here. I kind of moved them here. But the hill is pretty steep here. It doesn't look as steep as it actually is. Sorry, the trains are loud in the background this morning, but here's the whiter variety up here among the butterfly bush. And while I'm up here looking at the butterfly bush, I have to point out, I have so many hummingbirds this year, but I have not seen any butterflies at all yet. So I keep waiting for them to get here, but I have not seen any. If anybody has any idea about the migration to New York, I would love to hear that. Here are some of the Rosa sharing seedlings coming up in my upper garden. Even though one has not existed here for a while, the seeds just get spread up here and it's nice and flat up here, so they tend to like it. A call out to my friend Andy who gave me these, and I still need to look up what they are. But they're nice and big, and they're blooming and so pretty, and I want to zoom in so you can see them. They're like a yellow daisy or a sunflower, but they're not. And they go very nicely up against this big grass right here that's by the butterfly bush. Hidden in the Echinacea and the black-eyed Susans is one of my older needle palms. I think this is the second one I got. It's doing really well. It's got some new growth on it coming up. I don't cover this at all. I don't protect it at all. And the one thing I would say about these is, I would say that the first year, definitely protect. I bought a beautiful one, a gorgeous one that actually had a little bit of a trunk on it, and thought, oh, I don't need to protect it just like I've done, and it died over the winter. And it wasn't even that harsh of a winter. This one somehow survived just fine. And I think the key is protecting it the first winter or two. Even though they are supposed to be so cold hardy, I think they need a chance first. Over here by my monkey puzzle and the infamous Mule Palm is another one. And this one died. And I left it, and I had people telling me that plant's dead, that plant is dead, you can't tell because you're colorblind. And I said, I'm just gonna give it a chance. And it came back from the roots. And it also has new growth here. But I really do think the key with these, especially if you pay for a good one, is to protect the first winter or two. However you want to do that. And while I'm over here, I'm just going to point out how beautiful the phlox is. I love phlox. It does not like being on the hill. I tried, and this one's about to bloom. It prefers flat ground. My hill's just too steep for that. Okay, the very slow growing mule palm. I have fertilized and fertilized and fertilized, and I will have to say there is some new growth. I'm going to try to show you here. that is some new growth. So it's still alive, it is growing, so I'm not giving up on it. Just frustrates me. If you watch TN Tropics, I believe is the name. I always forget his name, I'm so sorry, and I watch his videos all the time. Please look him up. If you can't find him, send me a message and I will recommend his channel. He's got the most beautiful palm trees around his pool. Just gorgeous, gorgeous palms. And he had this mule palm that was so gigantic and growing so fast, and it actually got too big to protect, which is very sad. But he gives great palm advice, and so I'm gonna call him out. I'll try to put the link in here if I remember. He's great. The Pindo Palm is still going. It's my Lazarus palm. It had some bad new growth on it, and I suspect it was from all the rain. I've actually been adding some hydrogen peroxide to it just to make sure it's okay. Because I didn't get a spear pull. I got a spear pull, but it wasn't the main stem. So I think it's just too much rain, so I've been babying it a little bit. We'll see what happens here. But right near it, in a pot that I grew from seed, sorry all the mess over here, is another Pindo Palm that is actually doing really well. It's actually growing so fast. And I grew this one from seed, and it's got nice new growth coming up in it. I have several that I have grown from seed that I think might overtake that one someday, because they just seem to be on a better track. And that one has been a problem since I got it. It actually died and I had to chop it back, but it's still going. Here's my Washingtonia that was damaged from the snow. This is hard as a rock, and it is growing. It just hasn't opened up yet. I have belief in this one. And while I'm over here, here's the Alacosia that I overwintered in a box, so it had no leaves. And you'll see that it's slow, it's coming back, so it's great. It just takes longer. But already, this one's going to seed already, I think, because it's so hot out. Just crazy what plants will do that are tropical when it's so nice and hot. While I'm over here, I want to point out all these grasses along my deer fence, I did not buy. They all just got chopped off, grasses on the hill, and then I planted them out there, and then they're growing, and they're almost becoming a wall, which I really like. The figs by the pool are on their major comeback. They've grown so much. They died to the ground because of the bad winter, and I was a bad gardener and did not protect them. But they've come back so much. So at least they lived. And here I'm going to show you the infamous groundhog is down among my apple trees. There it is right there. I need to trap him and relocate because they eat everything. And they're like everywhere here in Newburgh, New York. It is still flowering, the Yucca Rostrata. It's still going. I just hope I get seeds. Such a pretty, pretty plant. And nestled in here, it's in a pot in the ground, is my Bismarckia, and it has some nice new growth on it as well. It's moving kind of slow, but hey, it seems to be happy. Here's the Musa Basjoo that I was talking about that died to the ground too, and quite a bit of discussion about this red coloration on this particular group. They tend to lose it as they get bigger, but even here, some interesting color on this, but you can really see it over here. But these all died to the ground and came back. And they've gotten so big. This one over here had more of a stem to it. I wouldn't say it completely survived, but it did. If I show you in here, you can see where it came back from where I cut it off. But the one right next to it died to the ground. And it's almost caught up. And if I twirl around here, there's one of my Mediterranean fan palms, my Chinese fan, which it's a nice little trunk that's coming on there. But these bananas here died to the ground as well, and they're gigantic. And they're definitely on a really steep part of the hill, and they seem to be completely happy with that. My Washingtonia Robusta up by the house, it's growing, it looks good. It's got a little bit of a lean to it, leaning out this way. I don't know how to solve that. It's just gonna make it hard to protect in the future when it gets much bigger, but I have to keep trimming these fronds on the side here because they start to drop, and then this is a major entrance into the garden, so it's just something this poor palm has to put up with. Here you can see the new growth on this. It's like a big, gigantic spike in here. It's so big, I love it. Love, love, love. My Cuban royal that's in a pot in the ground, I actually thought would have grown more this summer because of the heat, but it's actually got some nice new growth on it as well. So it is moving along. And then, as I will show you, Roebelinii is flowering. I do have pomegranites on the tree. This is my hardy pomegranate. There's quite a few. There was so many flowers. I did lose some of them in all the rain and everything, but there's definitely more on it. So I think I will get fruit this year, which I'm happy about. I see one down here as well. My Agapanthus that my friend Miriam gave me is about to bloom. This is the tropical Agapanthus, not the hardy one. I have hardy ones as well. My tree fern continues to do well. Seems very happy in this tropical weather out here. Likes being over here by the pond. It's got it's nice and green. Seems happy. Yeah, it's just so sultry out here. And of course my Chilean wine palm hybrid. I have to show this all the time just because I'm so in love with this plant. Some more Tetrapanex Rex identification. So my friend Mary thinks this might be a steroidal giant version. And then based on the fact that these hairs under here, it's hard to see, are kind of a rust color. Another one of you said that it definitely is not a Rex. So I'm a little disappointed that it's not a Rex, but I am loving this. But there are, like, I wouldn't say the hair, I'm trying to get them on video. I wouldn't say they're white. They definitely have a little bit of a rust color. So please, everyone, chime in. I'm going to give you a look at the leaves. It's definitely growing. I definitely like it no matter what it is. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for a Rex. I bought it as a Rex. But I do appreciate all your input. And I know, based on the confusion, it's hard for everyone on this plant to figure out what exactly it is. I just looked it up, tropical gloss from the UK. And I'm said it's probably not a Rex. So I guess both of you are correct, but it's such a pretty plant. It's grown so much. I can't even believe how much it's grown. So either way, I love it. I do love it. My Lotus is taking over the bowl and getting a little bit of height from some of these. The water is still pretty clear in here. There's a little bit of algae growth, but really not that bad at all. This is what I'm going to call a pencil cactus. that is the indoor plant that you see all over the place. I've never really owned one. My friend Chris gave me this. It was so beautifully green over the winter. I was really good about putting it outside slowly, and then I thought it died completely, and I was scared to tell Chris. But now I have new growth on it, so it's alive. So that just kind of shows you, don't throw your plants out right away. Sometimes they will come back. And if anybody has some insight into what's going on with this, why it looked like it died, because it really did. That's not an illusion there. It just doesn't look very green. It does on the new growth, but maybe that's a characteristic of this plant. My starfruit is definitely enjoying this nice hot weather. And if you remember one, speaking of near death, I thought this next one died. I just kept watering it. And look, the leaves are coming back. It is coming back to life quite nicely. So I saved it, or it saved itself. But that's why you just don't throw away things right away. And just a little update on my hardy pomegranates that I grew from last year's fruit. I put the seeds in the refrigerator over the winter, and then I got them to sprout. I have more, but this is just a look at 2 of them. They're starting to grow, so I am happy with them. Here I am weeding on the hill in my bee suit because I'm scared of hornets. I don't have a mask on and I don't have on bee gloves. And it is time for my garden meltdown of the week, and this one is a bad one. As you just saw, I was weeding and I had on my nice bee suit because I have learned my lesson that when I weed a lot on the hill with that many weeds, that I will inevitably stumble upon a hornet's nest. And these are the hornets that build their nest in the ground. And I'll be weeding and pulling, and all of a sudden I'll hit one. And I want to show you what happened this week. So I had on the bee suit. I didn't have on the bee mask, and I didn't have on the bee gloves. I got very lucky because I only got hit on my hand. And I'm going to show you that here. So it was just one sting. My hand swelled up. I took Benadryl. In the past, my hand has swelled up so much that I've had to have prednisone from my doctor. And I will say, I love when I go on prednisone because it's a steroid. And he said some people get irritated when you take prednisone, and some people have lots of energy. I had more energy than you could possibly imagine. I had it in the spring when I got stung, and I was moving plants, and I was doing all this stuff. And I called my doctor later, and I said, I love this drug. Can I be on it all the time? And he said, absolutely not. You can't. You would die. So anyway, I actually thought when I got stung, I was like, oh, good, I'll get on prednisone. But it didn't swell up that bad. But as a warning to all of you, the very first time this happened in my garden was many years ago. My hair was still dark. It's no longer dark because I'm old. And I want to show you pictures of I was weeding and I hit the nest and they hit my face so fast. I had probably 10 stings on my face. And I ran as fast as I could and dove into the pool to escape them. But I was hit so bad, and that night I was supposed to go to dinner with friends, and I thought, you know what, I'm actually so concerned about how I look and that I might, something might happen. Maybe it's a good idea to go to dinner with my friends just in case something happens. So I went to dinner. I went to a Mexican restaurant for dinner with my friends, and here are the pictures of me at the Mexican restaurant. I think it looks like I had really bad plastic surgery. It didn't even look like a bee sting then, or a hornet sting. It looked like bad plastic surgery. So I found it very funny. My friends thought it was funny. But the next morning, I was supposed to fly to Chicago for work. And when I got up the next morning, this is what I looked like. I looked like I'd been in a boxing match and lost. So I did not get to go to Chicago that morning. I didn't think they would let me on the flight looking like that because it was so bad. So, and I didn't even go on prednisone for that. I was dumb. I just called my doctor, and he just at the time said, as long as you're breathing okay and the swelling starts going down, you'll be okay. And I was okay. But now, as I will not weed, gigantic weeding on the hill unless I have on a bee suit, and I will show you then the next day I got into the right mode with my bee suit and with the hat and everything on and the netting and the right gloves, and then I was able to weed. And on that fun note, I think I'm going to jump back in the pool because it is so hot out. I need to soak in the pool a little while. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you will comment. Please comment, and please like and subscribe too, because that means I get to reach more people, and that's a good thing, because then I meet a lot more gardeners that are out there in the world. And everybody's been really good about telling me where they are in the world. So if you haven't done that and you make a comment, I would love if you do that. And I hope everybody has a fantastic week in the garden. And I will talk to all of you next week when I do my midweek video. Thanks for watching, everyone.